fact, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it. No matter where you go, you're an Indy 500 winner. The only way to be successful in racing is to stay on top of the technical edge, and we've done that with our dealership. So a lot of the technology in our service department and sales processes, everything is the very latest. That gives you an edge. That's being competitive in the car business. You can take it any way you want, but that's the truth.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Are we starting?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Oh, there we are. Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV. Leroy Lucero along with Michael Carlisle. I love the way we just kind of slid in there. Sliding into home.
I knew we were starting.
You did?
Yeah.
How did you know?
Because I tuned you out about the last 45 seconds you were talking to me and was prepping to go on the air.
Speaking of tuning out, Saturday, the Lobos will lose to Hawaii.
Possibly.
The Lobos will lose to Hawaii. I personally don't see any chance of them notching another W the rest of the season. Do you?
The schedule gets tougher. It just gets tougher and tougher. There aren't any easy games left.
Are you like trying to stay on the Bob Davey Christmas card list? Or?
No, I think I just answered your question. Look, yes, with each game, it's going to get more and more difficult for the Lobos to win another game this year.
So it's Hawaii, and then who's after Hawaii?
Nevada.
Oh, boy.
And then Air Force back here at Boise, home to Utah
So
State.
Yesterday on the radio, 95.9,
Yeah.
610.
Yeah.
Do people still listen to the 610 side, or are they all 95.9?
No. They still listen to both.
Okay, cool. I listen to iHeartRadio to you guys when I can, when I'm not in class. You were saying that Hawaii, their strength plays into the Lobos' weakness.
Yes.
And I sent you a text, I believe. I said, that's true, it does. But so does Air Force, who runs the ball, because that plays into the Lobos' weakness as well.
The Lobos do a much better job against predominantly running teams. Look, Wyoming beat them, and that game was never really in question.
No.
But they scored 23 points. You held them to 345 total yards, while you had 372. I mean, you outgained them. The problem the Lobos have is they have no passing game themselves. And, as Bob Davey has taken to saying in recent weeks, you pass to score, you run to win. You can't score right now if you're the Lobos because of the pass. I'm not trying to be funny.
You.
I mean, I'm being dead serious.
I know you are. I know. I hear you.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the problem, and that's why I would have liked to have seen Sharon a little earlier on Saturday. Maybe it doesn't make a difference, but I mean, I'm sorry, I would like to have seen Tavaka earlier, to replace Sharon, because when Tavaka did come in, they were able to move the ball in the air. That they put some points on the board. Maybe the score winds up the same anyway, but it would have probably given you a better chance to put points on the board. And look, that was a 7-0 game at the half.
It was close.
Yeah. So
it was close. I think because they were running the ball. I think they run the ball effectively. I think we talked about Amari Davis and Bryson Carroll, and I think they make a really good 1-2 punch. One's a little bit more powerful, and I just continue to be impressed with Bryson's ability to get in and out of the hole.
Yeah, frankly, they didn't run the ball that well.
It seemed like they did.
They ran for 169 yards total. The problem is you couldn't move the ball in the air, and Wyoming, stuck to what they do. That they're not a passing team at all, but they were able to run the ball. They were able to put points on the board, but the defense was good enough to get some stops on Wyoming and keep that game close. You just couldn't do anything offensively.
So I guess the big news of the day or of the week now is Sharon Jones was suspended indefinitely by Bob Davie. We don't know why.
Right.
He did say, well, you were at the presser, but he said it had nothing to do with football.
He said it was not football related,
which
leaves a couple of other different options and some variation, and I'm sure that'll come to light soon enough. Tavaka was probably going to start this week anyway.
Yes.
And because, again, he does give you the best chance to win. But what have we learned from watching Lobo football? And yes, during the whole Davie time, but you can go back to the Loxley years as well, and even at the end of Rocky
Rockies.
You're going to need multiple quarterbacks. And at some point in time, you were going to need Sharon again. And look, maybe this winds up being a week or 2 week thing. Well, we'll have to see exactly what it is and how it plays out. But now if Tavaka is ineffective, or if, God forbid, he gets hurt, now you're relying on a redshirt freshman who's taken one snap in his career to be the backup. And maybe he turns out to be the greatest quarterback in Lobo history. Possibly. Who knows? Talking about Trey Hall, but very inexperienced. And as we talked about at the outset, the schedule just gets tougher and tougher and tougher. So if Sharon's not reinstated and you need a backup quarterback, he's going to go in facing one of the tougher teams in the Mountain West Conference.
I think what's wild about Lobo football with Bob Davie for a while, because the first few years they knew what they were going to do. They knew what they wanted the quarterback to do. The offense was set. It's like, we're going to do it. Kind of, you mentioned Wyoming, that they did what Wyoming does.
Right.
It's like, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to mess around. We're not going to try to change everything. I think the thing that's frustrating, probably to Lobo players, coaches, fans, everything, is that there's such a distinct difference between Sharon Jones and Tavaka Tuioti that, like, the whole offense and the whole mindset changes depending on who's in the shotgun position. And I think, when you have Tavaka in there, they're afraid to run the ball.
I don't think they're afraid to run the ball. To allow
the quarterback
to run
the ball.
They're afraid for him to run the ball too much.
Okay.
Right.
And I think when Sharon's in there, they don't necessarily want him, dropping back and heaving passes.
Right.
And I think everything just kind of gets screwy in all that. And it seems like it's always been, at least this season and probably last season and maybe the season before that, they're just lost in what they want to do. They're not quite comfortable or set in what they want to do offensively. And it shows.
It does. If you go back to the first game of the season, the Sam Houston State game, the game that Brant Hughes started, got injured late in the first half, didn't play in the second half. If memory serves, they threw the ball 26 times.
Yeah,
in the first half.
Yeah, he was humming it.
Right. I think that's probably more of what they wanted to do. But once he goes down, and at that point in time, Sharon was the backup. Tavaka wasn't ready yet because of the time he had missed. So that drastically changed the offense. Once Tavaka's ready, all right, we can throw the ball a little more now. And that worked out great in the New Mexico State game. But the games after that, the Liberty game, the San Jose State game, where Tavaka struggled, threw a lot of interceptions, the Lobos had turnover problems, it didn't work out. So you had to go back to Sharon. And, at that point in time, you are maybe not more conservative, but the scope of the offense changes,
right.
And you do become much more of a
running
team.
I don't think the running game is necessarily conservative. I mean, you can get first downs and you can move.
No. Conservative from the standpoint you're not throwing the ball as much. You're not trying big plays down the field.
Yeah.
No, look, this is always going to be about the run, but you've got to be able to pass the ball in order for teams to respect the pass and not just stack the box and eventually shut down your run. And the Lobos, let's be honest, they've been very one-dimensional.
Whatever that dimension is.
Well, it's run.
Well,
I mean,
when Tavaka's in there, it's not as much running dimension. They throw the ball a lot more.
Right, but he hasn't been in there a lot.
That's
my point. We probably will see
crazy.
more passing this week. I fully expect that.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I mean,
at least early on. Now, depending on how he performs, if he goes out and throws 3 interceptions in the first half, you might see a lot of running in the second half.
Now, Trey Hall has already played one game. He played in the Notre Dame game. He got a snap, and I believe the rule is you can play 4 games and still maintain your redshirt year, right?
He's already redshirted though.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So why not run him out there?
At some point, they probably will, but I think you want to put him in a position to, again, he's got 3 more years after this year.
Right.
You want to put him in a position where he doesn't get overwhelmed and loses confidence early on and never gets it back. So,
I mean, I hear you and I see what you're saying, but at this point, he's not going to burn. You know, there's nothing to. I mean, I guess you could lose your confidence, but
yeah, there's confidence.
I'm going to assume that there will be a whole new coaching staff next year. I'm going to assume. I'm going to make that prediction and assumption right now.
Be careful what you assume.
Okay. Well, you know,
I mean,
I've been assuming this. I've been assuming this for 2 years. So
exactly, that's my point.
Yeah.
And look, maybe that is the case. Who knows? But like you said, you've been assuming that for a few years now, and it hasn't been the case. I don't really know what changes this offseason that makes it more viable to do that.
Well, I mean, before it was like we can't have another 3-9 season.
Well, at this rate, you're probably not.
Right, you're not. You're going to go at 2-10.
Yeah, and hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they find a way to win some ball games.
Yeah,
but you're probably going to be double-digit underdogs.
The rest of the way?
Yeah, the rest of the way. They're 10-point underdogs to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. And it used to be Hawaii would come to the mainland and they'd have problems. I don't know. I guess the travel from Hawaii. You've traveled to Hawaii. How harsh is it?
Well, it's a lot better going to Hawaii than it is leaving it.
Okay.
But
right.
yeah, I mean, it's like a 5-hour time difference.
Yeah,
it's a little rough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying it used to always be that way, but it's not that way this year. They've actually been pretty decent.
They've got good players, and look, they're going to come in. They're going to throw the ball a lot. And again,
play to Lobo's weakness.
That is the Lobo's Achilles heel, defending the pass, especially deep downfield. Oh, they're going to throw the ball.
Oh, I know. I mean, come on. Why wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you? All right. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with more Red Menace TV.
What the heck is this?
Aggressive. I'm aggressive.
Ooh. It's over here. Never did it.
There's Cale Cox-Liggins. He's supposed to be the playmaker, and he's showing out why right there as he spins out of tackles and gets himself a touchdown. 25.
Here's a snap. Number one takes the ball on the right side. And he'll pick up the first down. He's picking up positive yards, and it looks like he might go all the way. Unless number one can... Nope, not going to happen. He'll take it all the way to the house, and the Rams will score on a huge play on the right side.
Bit of a lane. Ariano's able to break. He breaks one, he breaks two, he's able to get through. Look at this, he's dancing. Touchdown, Ariano! Play, Schufeld's in that wing. Yeah, block. Oh, look
Aguirre.
At this. Unbelievable touchdown, Aguirre.
They did. Well, right now, no other teams matter, but these two, we got the Hawks and the Storm. The Hawks will take the first kickoff, and going right up through the middle right now, tearing the way through is Isaiah McCary. He's beaten everybody. Can he win the foot race? He can, and this game starts out hot.
You notice the defensive linemen are just simply standing up. Number 22 will take it on that right side, and he's got some wheels. He's making things happen, and it looks like he'll break it loose Oh, at the 20, the 10-yard line, and for the score. Oh my gosh, how about that? Deep kick. Returnable here for Dominguez. And Dominguez, a little shake. And some move on the outside and setting free, it's Gallegos. And he's going to take it all the way. Touchdown.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Welcome back to Red Menace TV. Hey, Michael, did you watch the New York Jets? They played both teams that'll be in this year's Super Bowl. 1 week they played the Dallas Cowboys, and next week they played the New England Patriots. Complete different.
You just better hope the Cowboys win the NFC East. Easy on the Super Bowl talk there.
Oh no, they'll win the Super. They'll get. Look, no one's going to stop the Patriots. They're a machine, a well-oiled, finely tuned machine. But if you look at the NFC, who's there?
The Saints, the 49ers.
Oh, come on. I can't buy the 49ers right now.
It's time to buy the 49ers.
You think so?
They're legit.
6-0, legit?
They're
you think
legit.
they're real?
They're real.
I have a feeling they go on a big losing streak here soon. I don't see them as legit.
They're legit.
Why? Because of their defense?
Yeah.
Their offense is,
Yeah, real good defense. They acquired Emmanuel Sanders from the Broncos this week to give Garoppolo a legit wide receiver weapon. They got one of the best tight ends in football in Kittles. Yeah.
Okay.
They're legit, dude.
I'm going to stay with my Dallas Cowboy pick.
Of course you are. You're a Cowboy fan.
I'm a Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
Plus, I think they're pretty good. You know, everyone seems to forget that they were missing their tackles when they went on that little losing streak. That was a big deal. They go against the Eagles, and basically the offensive line was dominant.
Oh, hold on. I'm about to pull a Leroy here. Everybody forgets the Eagles were missing their tackles, and they had a lot of injuries.
The Eagles were too?
Yeah.
They're missing which? Their defensive tackles?
The Eagles got all kinds of injury problems.
Yeah. Cowboys had injury problems too. They had guys walk out, or not walk out, but sit out. So, Patriots got stronger. Manu, how do you pronounce his name?
Sanu.
Sanu, thank you. Mohamed Sanu.
Yep, Mohamed Sanu.
He gets traded from the Falcons to the Patriots. They get stronger. Then you mentioned Emmanuel Sanders from the Broncos.
Yeah. By the way, do you know who else has had a lot of injury problems and it hasn't affected them?
Who's that?
The New England Patriots.
Well, but I mean, that's, like I said, that's a well-oiled machine.
Yes, it is.
It's insane. I don't know. I mean, I saw a great meme the other day, and they showed.
Is there such a thing?
A great meme?
Yeah,
I thought this
a
was
great
good.
meme.
I don't think maybe you won't get this because you're older than. Do you remember the Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember Splinter? And they showed the Splinter with a young little baby Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Sure.
And they're walking, and they said that's a Patriots defense. And then Splinter, the sensei was Tom Brady. And then they showed now that Splinter's a little old. on the next picture, and the Mutant Ninja Turtles are now grown up, and now the defense is carrying the Patriots. I see that now. Brady's still Brady.
Oh, you're right. That was great.
I thought it was great. You didn't think that was great?
I'm rolling my eyes. There you go. Thank you all, Dan. Rolling my eyes here.
Eye rolling. Okay, never mind. It wasn't that great then.
No, it was fine.
I thought it was great.
Sure.
All right. So I think those are the two teams. The Jets are terrible.
Yeah.
Washington's got to be ticked.
Why is that?
Because they were well on their way. I mean, you have teams that are fighting for that no wins to try to get that first round pick, and they kind of messed it up.
Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but that's still messing it up.
No. See, all right, here's the difference in, say, Washington versus and Cincinnati versus, say, Miami.
Yeah.
Miami has no desire to win a game.
Oh, that was obvious when they went for 2.
Yeah, Washington and Cincinnati are actually trying. They're just really bad football teams.
Okay. I mean, does that not strike you as kind of shady, the way that Miami went for the 2-point conversion in that game against Washington? I mean, why would they do that? Why wouldn't they just kick the field goal?
The extra point?
Or the extra point,
yeah.
Field goal, extra point.
Go for the win at home?
No. Tie it up.
The going for it wasn't the problem. It was the horrible play call that they had run several times earlier in the game, and it didn't work any of those times. For them to expect it to work then and not think Washington would immediately pick up on what they were about to do and be in a position to stop them.
Tell me that wasn't a tank situation. You have to admit that was a tanking situation.
Sure. This week was even better.
Okay.
Because Miami scores, they go for the onside kick.
Yeah.
I forget who they were playing now, but they scooped it up and ran it in for a touchdown. At that point in time, there had not been a single onside kick recovered all season long. They scooped it up and ran it in for a touchdown.
Was it like, have you ever seen those things where like there's a kid or there was a video of some old man that they're playing flag football and everyone like falls to the side, like pretends as he's running, and is it kind of like that with that?
It was pretty close. It
was
the Bills game. Yeah, they
are the Dolphins like, oh, don't touch him, don't touch him, let him go, let him go.
They're like tackling each other to keep somebody from accidentally falling into him. Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of crazy that the NFL is kind of like that. There's a few like that. But anyways, real quick, NBA Zion Williamson. I said his son. I caught it at the end. Yeah. Out 6 to 8 weeks. Does it matter in the NBA?
It matters. You certainly wanted him there because you want to get off to a good start. You want to secure a playoff spot in the Western Conference. I think they'll be okay until he gets back.
You only have like 2 more years of this season to kind of get through, right?
It's a long season. It's 82 games.
Just giving you a hard time, man. I don't know. Do you watch NBA? Are you an NBA guy or not really? NBA,
yeah.
Or are you more of a college basketball
I'm more of a college guy, but yeah, I absolutely watch the NBA.
And locally, the college, now it's a year. It's still a year away, but J.B. White of Santa Fe, high school committed to the University of New Mexico. I talked to our buddy, Sebastian Noel, local focus with Sebastian Noel. He said this is like a solid 100% commitment. He goes, him and Weir are tight. Coach Weir's been tight with the family, I think, the entire time. And it's funny because your old friend Craig Noodles was coming to town to visit J.B. White this week. And I guess they made the phone call up to Nevada and said, don't bother. Thoughts? Nothing? No. Nothing on recruiting? You're not a big recruiting guy?
That's great for the Lobos next year. I'm more focused on this year, which is coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Did you go to Lobo Hall?
I did not. I was out of town.
Oh, Cherry Silver game? It was
the Cherry Silver game? No, I was out of town.
Yeah. I think there was actually more people at the Lobo football game than at the Cherry Silver game.
Well, there probably were.
There probably was, at least for the first half.
Yikes. Dude, why are you such a hater?
I'm such a negative guy, right?
You surround yourself with so many haters. I don't know why I hang out with you.
I don't know. I mean, because you're the positive light to my negativity.
Would you say that I'm the Master Splinter to your little Ninja Mutant Turtle?
I'd be like one of those Yapple kids. I did do some Yapple games this week, and that was fun. It was Super Bowl, and that was a good time. Of course, ProView Networks, you can catch all those Yapple championship games. I don't know if we call them Super Bowls or not. Championship games.
See, you should take a page from me and learn not to be so negative. I'm not going to say anything funny here.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'll take a page. I'm learning. Thank you, Michael. Oh, sensei of mine. Anyway, that was fun.
Now go get me some pizza, little turtle.
Yeah, there we go. We could use some pizza. High school football, of course, is hot and heavy. High school basketball, Lobo basketball, college basketball, NBA's. So everything's kicking off, and this is like a good time to be fan. Plus, and I know this is something you love, Major League Baseball, World Series. And I know the games and everything, the way it rolls, but early on at the Nationals, don't you think they should have renamed them the Senators? Did they not? Because Ottawa had it in the NHL?
Well, no. I mean, you have lots of
Crossovers.
team names from different sports that are the
Are
same.
the Winnipeg Jets still around?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, they're back around. They had gone away. They're back.
Okay. Did they suck? Do they suck as bad as the New York Football Jets?
I don't really watch hockey.
Okay, cool.
Until the playoffs.
Okay. Which is like, talk about the NBA season being long, the NHL playoff season.
Well, their two playoffs run pretty concurrently.
Concurrently? Wow, look at this big word.
That means at the same time, Leroy.
Okay, all right. Anyways, I don't even know where we were going with that. Where were we going with that? Oh, the baseball.
Yeah, the baseball.
Your thoughts on baseball? New Mexico's Alex Bregman, of course, everyone loves him. Your thoughts? I mean, is everyone excited, or is it there's no Yankees? Who cares?
You think everybody's a Yankee fan?
Well, you're either, Yankees are like the Dallas Cowboys. You love them or you hate them, I think. Is that not true?
That's probably true.
I mean, do you hate the Yankees?
You know
or do you
what?
like the Yankees?
The NFL's gotten along just fine all these decades without the Cowboys being
Yeah, but
in
they
the
still
Super Bowl.
hate them.
Well, sure. Well, you can still hate the
I
Yankees
mean, I think
even though they're not
I
in
think
it.
at this point the Patriots have probably passed the Cowboys as the most despised team.
Maybe. Back to your question about baseball.
Yeah.
Look, I before the series started, I picked the Nationals.
Oh, really? Did you go to Las Vegas or one of the local betting establishments and lay some money down, or
I did not.
You just said it over the air?
I just said it over the air.
Can we get the tape on that?
Sure, absolutely.
No, I'm kidding. I trust you.
You doubt me?
No, not at all. Every time I doubt you, I come up on the short end of the stick, so I don't doubt.
This is true, young turtle.
See? I'm learning. I want to be one of those mushroom head kids from the Yaffle. Those are what did you say, Mario?
I have no idea what you're talking about, dude.
Mario.
Dude, I am so confused right now.
It's cool. I love doing the Yaffle games with the little guys because that's exactly the way it is. Like, they're just running and there's like a little mushroom head running around. It reminds you of Super Mario Brothers. It's cool. They're digging it. They're fun. There's some great athletes there, good young athletes there.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, all right. Sorry. Okay, so you picked the Nationals.
Mm-hmm. They won game one. Got to Garrett Cole. Now, he went deep in the game, but Scherzer struggled, but was able to gut it out, and the bullpen held on. So they're going to get no worse than a split, as we do this on Wednesday. So heading back home, I think they're in a good spot. Now, if you're the Astros, you're like, well, you know what? The Yankees won game one of the ALCS, and that worked out okay for us. So we'll probably be okay here. Certainly, Houston has the better bats. Mm-hmm. The starting pitching is probably pretty doggone even. So we'll see how things play out. But yeah, I took the Nationals.
Is Strasburg still the greatest pitcher in the major leagues, or no?
He's not the greatest pitcher on his team.
Oh, okay. That shows you how long it's been since I followed him.
He's very good.
Yeah.
But Scherzer's the best pitcher on that team.
How do you pronounce his name?
Scherzer.
Okay.
Max
How'd your Cubs
Scherzer.
do?
Yeah, they didn't make the playoffs, Leroy.
Are the Cubs going to go for that to break the streak of non-playoff appearance or World Series appearances again, like they had before?
It's only been 3 years.
That's okay. I'm just saying they have 100 and some to go.
Yeah.
Will you be around for the next one?
I'd like to think so.
Okay, but probably not. Speaking of being around, we'll be around next week. We're going to turn things over to Michael Frankel and CageMinds.com.
That's how you did it a while ago?
Go like that way.
Oh, it was this way.
For Michael Carlisle and Alden Iowani, this is Leroy Lucero. We'll see you next week. Talk about another Lobo loss. God bless you all.
Ouch.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales.
They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Marty Size or Michelle Rudolph in Albuquerque today.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
To win the race, I can't even explain how, in fact, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it. No matter where you go, you're an Indy 500 winner. The only way to be successful in racing is to stay on top of the technical edge, and we've done that with our dealership. So a lot of the technology in our service department and sales processes, everything is the very latest. That gives you an edge. That's being competitive in the car business. You can take it any way you want, but that's the truth.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage. Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage. Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their
Welcome to the place where we talk about people getting punched in the face. This is Cage Minds. I'm Micah Frankel. Thanks for joining me. We got a lot of face punching to talk about. First off, let's get to the highlights from last weekend because there was some great action going on. We have the PFL second event of the playoffs, the featherweights and the lightweights in action. You had Lance Palmer defeating Alessandro Almeida and Alex Gilpin were both by decisions, advancing to his second straight featherweight PFL finals, looking for back-to-back $1 million, back-to-back featherweight championships, the former WSOF champion. He's going to be facing in the featherweight finals Daniel Pineda, a dark horse underdog, former LFA, former UFC vet, who's able to knock out Molive Kobileva and 29 seconds. And then right here, you're seeing him submit Jeremy Kimball in the semifinals. Guillotine choke, 4 minutes of the first round. The number 7 seed will meet the number 1 seed in the finals. In the lightweight division, it's Luka Radikev defeating Islam Mamed and Chris Wade, both by decision. The Russian advances to his first PFL finals, out wrestling the tough American wrestler there in the semifinals. To face the returning champion, Natan Schultz looks to make it 2 in a row in the lightweight division, just like Lance Palmer. Schultz getting to the finals in ultra impressive fashion, technical submission victories. I'm talking about he put Ramsey Nijem and Ahmed Aliyev both to sleep with submission victories. It was a rear naked choke that took out Ramsey and the triangle choke that got Aliyev. UFC was in Boston, UFC Fight Night on ESPN, and you saw a great submission finish there early in the middleweight division, coming off of earning a UFC contract on Dana White's Contender Series. Brendan Allen survives getting busted open to take the back in the second round of Kevin Holland, securing the rear naked choke, a 5th straight win. Randy Costa improves to now 5-1, defeating Boston Salmon. Salmon 0-2 after having got a contract on the Contender Series. It was a TKO by punches, 2:15 of the first round. Some pinpoint striking. You got to wonder now about the chin of Boston Salmon. Macy Barber, that young flyweight, continues to impress. The number 12 ranked fighter is now 3-0 in the octagon. A TKO of Jillian Robertson, blossoming into a title challenger. Precision striking, great takedown defense, and all-around game. It'll be interesting one day when she fights Valentina Shevchenko. Greg Hardy cannot escape controversy. He hits his inhaler in between rounds, never seen before in the octagon because it's illegal. The decision win over Ben Solole is turned to a no contest afterwards. Hardy can't escape the drama. Yair Rodriguez from the southpaw position devastates Jeremy Stevens with body kicks. From the orthodox, it was his boxing. A spectacular 2 rounds, nearly getting the finish in the second round off of the body kick. Stevens took a plethora of shots on the ground. I truly feel the ref should have jumped in for fighter safety. It's amazing that Stevens was able to withstand the beating. Great win, though, for Rodriguez. In the main event, number 4 ranked light heavyweight contender Dominic Reyes, now 12-0, 6-0 in the UFC, after knocking out former middleweight champion Chris Weidman in under 2 minutes inside of the first round. 9th finish overall, 7th by knockout for Reyes, all coming in the first round. A straight right put down Weidman and a hammer fist turned out the lights. I believe that Reyes is the number 1 contender for John Jones's belt, but John Jones surprisingly does not seem interested and now is possibly mulling the contemplation of going up to heavyweight, feeling that he's not motivated. Light heavyweights in boxing, Arthur Beterbiev is now 15 wins, 15 knockouts, and unifies the light heavyweight title, picking up now being the champion for the WBC and IBF. Only time will tell if he'll fight Canelo Alvarez or go after the missing belt from the puzzle. Beterbiev, not the biggest name, but maybe the most dangerous boxer at 168 pounds, not Canelo Alvarez. Come back to Meek. I think the slideshow there kind of got a little frozen. Beterbiev, a big win. I mean, a ferocious performance on Friday night on ESPN following that UFC event. Heavy hands, great shots landed. That was last weekend. We turn towards this weekend. A whole lot of fights coming up. First off, it's Dawn of Valor, one championship in Jakarta, Indonesia. This is a big one where Sebastian Kadems will defend the one welterweight championship against Kareem Abasov. Both men are on 3-fight win streaks. The co-main event is also a world title fight. It's the One Super Series lightweight kickboxing world title on the line. Reagan Ursel versus the Natural, Nikki Holtzkin. Former Glory champions meeting for the One Championship Super Series title. The Dutch fans will be going crazy for this one. A big weekend of Bellator action. Friday night on Paramount kicks off the doubleheader in Connecticut. You have the main event, Roy Nelson versus Frank Mir. It's a rematch. Mir won the decision the first time out. Phil Davis versus Carl Alberskak, a rising vet from Sweden, is the co-main event. Best fight on the card for my money, Ed Ruth versus Jason Jackson. The co-main event, the top wrestling prospect versus the multiple regional time champion. Bare knuckle boxing champion Beck Rawlings, the UFC vet. She makes her Bellator debut against Brazil's Alara Joanne. And then you have Jack Hager, the pro wrestler, looks to make it 3-0 in his MMA career. That, again, is your Paramount event for the time being, the one you're able to watch on TV for Bellator coming up on Friday night, kicking off the doubleheader in Connecticut. UFC, stay up late after Bellator because the UFC happens immediately following early start time, I believe 3 a.m. local for the prelims. UFC Fight Night 162 in Singapore. Your main event is a welterweight contest. Damian Maia won 9 of his last 12, 2 in a row, takes on former Bellator, former One Championship champion, Funky Ben Askren, 19-1. A grappler's delight, submission specialist versus dominant wrestler. Co-main event has the return to lightweight of the Menace, Michael Johnson, who returns after going 2-2 at 145 pounds to take on Scotland's Stephen Ray. Ray has won his last 4 fights by decision. It's going to be a gritty one at lightweight in the co-main event. You also have a feature fight at lightweight. BJJ ace technical kickboxer Beneil Dariush faces heavy-handed, iron-jawed Frank Camacho. The second part of the Bellator doubleheader, Saturday night on DAZN. The main event, Rory McDonald, Douglas Lima 2. It's not only the rematch for the welterweight title, but the finals of the Bellator welterweight Grand Prix with $1 million on the line. On day's notice in the co-main event, Syed Awad at Moneyweight will face knockout artist Paul Daly. Unfortunately, Vitaly Minakov versus Javi Ayala has been scrapped from the card with Minakov having visa issues. Nick Newell, the sensation, will be on the card taking on Oklahoma native Manny Moreau, who trains out of Jackson Winks. Not to mention Pat Mix taking on short notice opponent Isaiah Chapman. The debut of Tevin Dice from Jackson Wink. So a heavy Jackson Wink feel on this second night Bellator 232. Not to mention the debut of former Glory World Champion Roman van Roosmalen. It's a big card Saturday night on DAZN. The interesting one is that main event. You also got boxing this weekend. Saturday night on ESPN+, Shakur Stevens versus Joet Gonzalez for the vacant WBO featherweight title is your main event. Also on the card, you'll see Joshua Greer versus Antonio Niels. That's a 10-rounder at bantamweight. And the card will see the return of Jason Sanchez versus Adelson Dos Santos, a 10-round affair at featherweights. How does Sanchez look after that world title opportunity? One more on DAZN. It's a big one. The finals of the World Boxing Super Series Junior welterweight unification, Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor, WBA, IBF titles for the winner. It's a big weekend of combat sports where you go to London for some great boxing, Singapore for MMA, Connecticut has the doubleheader, Indonesia with that huge card for one championship, and we still got a lot more to talk about, like what's coming up on the local scene. But first, I think we got to take a break. We'll be right back with more Cage Minds.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
Is this my car?
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Marty Size or Michelle Rudolph in Albuquerque today.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car crafters, it's like it never happened.
As we teased before we went to the break, let's talk about the local scene. We got a couple events that you can attend right here in the Albuquerque area coming up. November 1st, Holmes Boxing is at the Marriott Pyramid. It's Havoc Showdown. Antonio Martinez from Espanola is in the main event. Donald Sanchez, the King of the Cage champion, will be in the co-main event. Sadaya Parker versus Maurice Jackson is on the card, not to mention Irish Brian McLean versus Lorenzo Benavides. The Cage Minds Combat Sports News Facebook page has pugilism and the Hollywood Lights. Go check out Hollywood Ray's interviews. The next night, November 2nd, it's a Saturday. Join us at 6900 Gonzales Road Southwest, or check out the Facebook page for the live stream. It's Nowhere to Run 3. It's amateur kickboxing. And then the following Saturday, right here on ProView Networks, you can see the event. We got boxing back at Tingley Coliseum. Legacy Boxing Promotions presents New Era. Josh Pitbull Torres, Juan Jesus Rivera Garza in the main event. Diamond Boy, Angel Baby, Jesus Para Prado, Adam Andre. So many of the great New Mexico talents are going to be on that card, not to mention Amy Salinas. So that's a big one with the co-main event of Jose Luis Sanchez versus Isaac Luna. Looking forward to that one especially. A couple other local tidbits. believe School of Hard Knocks promotion and Hobbs December 29th will be having, or December 28th will be having an MMA event, and Southwest MMA Series will be back at Buffalo Thunder in the first part of January. A couple local fighters are going to be in action a lot sooner, and I went over to Jackson Winks to catch up with the pair of them. Start off with talking to Chris Brown, as once again he's going to attempt to be in action on Warrior Way Wednesday on UFC Fight Pass. Chris Brown joining us talking about Warrior Way Wednesday, looking to be in action on Halloween Eve, UFC Fight Pass. I feel like we've heard this Warrior Way Wednesday thing before then.
So this is the fourth attempt. Yeah, fourth attempt. This will be the third trip out there. So yeah, hopefully this guy actually shows up. The last opponent pulled out. I found out on Sunday. Apparently he pulled out a week ago, and no one told me. Like I saw it. WXC, they posted it on their Instagram, and I woke up on Sunday and I was like, oh, what am I tagged in? And I was like, oh, I got a new opponent. So I was like, oh, let me call my manager. So I call him and give him a hard time. Like, well, it's good to know that I got a new opponent. He's like, oh, they posted something? Like, they were supposed to send me the contract first. Like, I'm like, he's like, yeah, your guy pulled out. I told Wink, but we didn't tell you. So, you know, they know I'll go off the rails if they didn't. So they kept me in the dark, and I'm hitting mitts with Wink every day, and he's like not even telling me that I don't have an opponent. So I finally got one. They say he's guaranteed to show up. You know, they're paying him to come in from Florida, so you know I'm excited. You know, Breezy just wants to fight.
Chris Brown going to be facing Sean Brown.
Brown versus Brown.
Had a lengthy amateur career from what I saw. Looked like he's like
11-2 or something like that. I've seen it.
And now he has 3 professional fights. Assuming he's a wrestler from what I've seen.
That's what I heard. I didn't even watch a video.
That's your thoughts? That's how hard?
I was already training for a wrestler, but really nothing that I do changes because people forget that I'm a wrestler. Like, I'm a state champ wrestler from Texas. So yes, I know how to wrestle. They just got, you know, everybody gets enamored because my striking has developed so much, you know, doing all the crazy kicks and things that I do, that they forgot that the reason that I'm allowed to do all these craziness is because my wrestling base is so strong and I have no fears.
Chris Brown hoping to be in action. It's been a little tumultuous each time he's head up to Michigan for Warrior Way Wednesday. Hopefully his fight with Sean Brown will come to fruition. Now, I was also there at Jackson Wing Academy. Was able to grab Maurice, the Holt Jackson, for a couple comments about Havoc Showdown coming up on November 1st. November 1st, Marriott Pyramid Homes Boxing, Havoc Showdown in the boxing ring, coming back to competition. Was it just whatever fight you could find? Was there a goal to more boxing versus MMA?
No, I mean, it didn't make a difference. Just whoever they put in front of me, you know, anybody knows me, you know, my game plan doesn't change much, you know. It's just a matter of you got to stop it, you know. And just like anything else, you know, this is just a game with, like, you know, fatal consequences. So my thing is that I don't change my style of approach or attack up. I'm very dominant in what I do, you know, and I'm going to take this fight similar the same way. You know, I just had to get back on a bike. That's all. It takes a little bit sometimes, you know, when you take a little time like I took off, you know, you just got to start paddling a little bit more to get your legs moving and finally get the circulation. You're going to realize that, hey, you can do this. So, you know, I'm good. You know, my timing is back. My cardio is back, and my weight is low, and I'm ready to go.
The opposition is going to be another mixed martial artist, which is going to be a boxing match, taking up Sadiya Parker, who's with Fit NHB, another guy that likes to throw his hands. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
I feel like it's me. I got that advantage here. For one, I know he likes to walk people down and be the dominant force, but I'm one of those guys that is too dangerous to walk down. That's one. Two, also having experience being in there numerous times, that's going to play a big difference. And on 3, you know, I just don't know how he's going to deal with the pressure that I'm going to bring going forward and being able to stay on the attack like that. So for me, as long as I just keep implementing what I do best, I should be okay with anybody that put in front of me. You know?
What do you expect to have happen November 1st?
I should see and wait and we'll find out. But I tell you what is going to happen though. TKO my way.
Going to see Maurice Jackson there against Sadaya Parker. That one, Benavides versus McLean. I'm kind of torn on which one I want to hedge my bet on. Will be fight of the night there at Havoc Showdown, but expect some action-packed boxing November 1st there at the Marriott Pyramid. Lastly, last night went over to Jackson's Acoma to talk to Amanda Borg. She's going to be boxing on UFC Fight Pass 2 times coming up here to close out the year. We'll let her give you the details.
Back in the ring, how's that feel?
It's pretty exciting. I just wanted to compete before the year was up, so I checked a couple of my messages and I had a couple of boxing promoters that were in there, so I kind of accepted a few fights.
A few fights?
Yes. So I'll be fighting November 7th for Roy Jones Jr. in Tucson, and then I'll be fighting for CES Boxing in Connecticut December 7th.
So back-to-back opportunities with boxing, just taking what comes?
Just trying to be, I guess, a complete martial artist and just compete and get back to that fighting spirit, I guess. I don't know. Trying to get back to the Amanda that throws down, so I figured if I could throw myself in a boxing match, why not?
How different does it feel now, focusing in on the hands, the different stance? How's it feel getting back to focusing on boxing?
Well, I'm just going to say boxers are pretty badass because boxing is a lot more tiring than MMA, I feel like. And it's just a lot more cardio, a lot more stamina in your legs, and you don't really have opportunities to rest. You kind of got to figure out a way out right then and there and keep going forward.
How important is it to you just be able to get out there to compete?
It's super important just because I feel like in my pro career, I went pro in 2014 in MMA and boxing, and I feel like I haven't just been active, so the fact that I had my return fight to the cage in June, and then I'll get to box back-to-back in November and December, it means I completed the year with 3 fights, and that's more than what it's been the last 5 years, I guess. So it's really important to me to just get in there and compete and get back to winning.
Check out the full interviews with Chris, Maurice, and Amanda up at CageMinds.com. Cage Minds MMA show on YouTube. Looking forward to all 3 events. Hopefully, actually, really going to make an effort. Want to get Sadaya Parker's take on the upcoming bout with Maurice Jackson. But as we close out today, got to do so on a sad note. Need to pay respects to 2 gentlemen. There were 2 major losses recently to the New Mexico combat sports community that will definitely be felt through many. James Lindemuth was a ring announcer for both MMA and boxing. I was alongside with him on Combat Sports Weekly, and James was a major contributor to 610, the sports animal, a father, a great businessman, combat sports analyst. He will definitely be missed. Also, tragically lost this week was Carlos Crispin of Crispin Boxing, the owner of the boxing club that hosted many times the New Mexico Silver Gloves. We saw him in the corner of both of his kids in the pro bouts of Arturo and Amanda. Both losses have been felt greatly. Both men were hugely respected, will be greatly missed. You guys, thank you for the time. Check out CageMinds.com. Check out this weekend on the Sports Animal. I'll be there on the mic with Mike Adams from 11 to 1. Thanks for watching today, guys.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am,
Ma'am. Ma'am. Dang, this one made me feel all special.
To win the race, I can't even explain how, in fact, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it. No matter where you go, you're an Indy 500 winner. The only way to be successful in racing is to stay on top of the technical edge, and we've done that with our dealership. So a lot of the technology in our service department and sales processes, everything is the very latest. That gives you an edge. That's being competitive in the car business. You can take it any way you want, but that's the truth.